Okay, everyone knows me, but okay, for the future, I'd still like to introduce myself a little. You never know, people who don't know me might watch the recording later. That's quite possible because our community, the NSP community, is constantly growing both in width and in depth. And yes, I'd like to welcome everyone once again. My name is Olga Malishkina. I am the host of today's workshop, which has become quite a tradition for us. We have it every Thursday. I am a nutritionist and a healthy lifestyle blogger. By the way, you can find me on Instagram under the username Malishkina. It's written in Latin letters. Well, I don't think there will be any difficulties. And there's a lot of absolutely free information there related to supplements, including nature's sunshine, weight loss, beauty, fitness, and health in general. I am also a speaker at various events, both online and offline, including webinars, health and fitness schools, as well as personal growth and financial development. By the way, my topic today is mostly business related, but I want to touch upon some really important aspects of how nature's sunshine can be useful for specialists in the beauty and health industry, and not just for nutritionists. And at the same time, I am a leader manager at NSP, and I've been developing it for 7 years, a business in partnership with this wonderful brand, which is very solid and reliable. But let's talk about that in more detail. Actually, I didn't get into nutrition because I was in the NSP business, and conversely, I didn't come into the NSP business as a specialist. These were two parallel industries that somehow gradually developed in parallel, without intersecting at first, because people often do say a lot about how NSP is extremely useful for specialists. It's especially profitable for them to be here. I don't dispute that at all, just as conversely, the business can be enhanced if you are a specialist. It's like hypothetically easier to develop. That's not entirely true, but that's not my topic for today. I just want to say that I got into the business because I was fired from my job at a transport company, and this was during the COVID times, and I had no choice but to get into network marketing, although I was morally ready for it by that time. And yes, NSP is indeed a network marketing company. I never had any prejudices in this regard because my first degree is in economics. I have a master's degree in finance and credit. And as part of a marketing course, which lasted for 2 years, no more, no less, at the university, we also studied network marketing. For me, it's just the method or a set of measures for delivering a product from the manufacturer to the end consumer. Thanks to which, not always, but regarding NSP, this is indeed the case, we can get a higher quality product in terms of its content for less money. So the price to quality ratio here is simply perfect. And I started to delve into nutrition because I didn't understand how decades of going to doctors couldn't help me, but a comprehensive body cleanse helped in 4 months. And by the way, I've already told my personal health story. If you haven't seen it, contact your senior leaders, managers, directors. They will quickly find the recording for you and show it to you. Believe me, the usefulness there is also important. I now practice as a nutritionist, and a huge number of women come to me with similar problems. When I got my degree as a nutritionist and, well, the question of starting a practice came up, I immediately realized that I needed a tool in the form of dietary supplements. And right away, I don't want to offend anyone, but I want to address the nutritionists who work exclusively through diet, establishing a sleep and rest schedule, using various methods without using nutraceuticals. I have a question for you. Let's just use our heads. So how do you relieve inflammation in your client's gastrointestinal tract, well, and in the body in general, if it needs to be relieved urgently? And how, in principle, do you work with healing mucous membranes, with improving the gut microbiome? For example, when a course of antibiotics has just been taken and your client's microflora has been completely destroyed? And how do you protect your client's cells when living in polluted air amidst powerful free radical oxidation? And when we are all, figuratively speaking, wrapped in wires? I have a computer here, a phone here, headphones, a smartwatch. Is it possible to do this with diet alone when buying products from a supermarket? Well, I highly doubt it when you see identical peppers and perfect apples lying there. My grandmother in the village didn't have ones like that. And in theory, there are so-called blue zones in the world. These are geographically located places. As a rule, they are islands. There are very few of them. The island of Sardinia, Okinawa in Japan, Icaria in Greece, Sardinia in Italy, we were there recently. The Nicoya Peninsula, if I'm reading it correctly, that's in Costa Rica, and Loma Linda, a region in the USA. That's it. Why in these zones is it like not necessary to take nutraceuticals? Well, because it's believed that there's a better ecological environment, higher quality food, more plant-based food. People don't live on meat from morning till night. So there's a high percentage of long-lived people there who live over 90, 100 years. And they are physically active. Their quality of life is really at a high level. But as you can imagine, I don't live on the island of Sardinia. And honestly, it surprises me because when we were in Italy, including Sardinia, besides bread rolls with a thin slice of cheese and some jamon, we didn't really see much else there. Yes, in a cafe you can buy pasta, for example, or pizza, traditional Italian dishes, and even some baked fish, which is better, the lesser of two evils. But I understand that for breakfast they have coffee and a croissant. They can't eat anything else when eating out, for example. And if you order a dish there, they won't bring you any greens. They won't bring vegetables. So the state of their microbiome is a mystery to me. And basically, again, the example of my clients shows that even though Italy has 300 sunny days a year, they have a severe vitamin D deficiency. So how will nutritionists who only work with diet address severe deficiencies in the body? For vitamin D, for magnesium, for iron, almost half of the world's population is iron deficient to varying degrees. 20% of these people already have persistent severe iron deficiency anemia. And let's ask these people to eat more red meat and offal, the products that are rich in iron. Well, they just won't be able to absorb it, I assume. And let's take Japan, for example. They're basically at the state level, they recommend taking dietary supplements. There, even if you're applying for a job and you have two identical candidates in all respects, but one takes supplements and the other doesn't, they'll hire the one who takes supplements. Because they are more productive, more effective, and will take fewer sick days. But I don't want to go too deep into this topic. That's a topic for a separate webinar, of course. But I just wanted to highlight this point just to get a better understanding. Dietary supplements are extremely important for a nutritionist's practice because you can't get results just with diet and just by establishing physical activity. Furthermore, the supplements must be from a professional line. Yes, and basically, like hairdressers, massage therapists, cosmetologists, if there are any here, put a 1 in the chat. Well, any representatives of some helping professions, one way or another, have additional tools. A cosmetologist won't use brands like Garnier, Nivea, L'Oreal that are on the drugstore shelves. Well, if you live in other countries, basically, those kinds of cosmetic stores are just mass market. They will select special brands that are not so easy to get, that are really good in terms of composition, that work, and are also safe in their practice. And no, I'm not a purist. I don't think that the brand Nature's Sunshine is the only perfect professional one in the world. There are about not many, 6, 7, or 8 different brands, well, maybe a few more, that have at least 3 truly reputable quality certificates in the world, recognized worldwide, not just in some region. These are GMP, Good Manufacturing Practice, NSF International, a certificate that confirms the legitimacy of this GMP, and USDA Organic. Sometimes GMP is confirmed if we're talking about the USA by the FDA. It's a regulatory body. It's not a certificate, it's specifically an inspection, right? A supervisory agency. So that's the set. If we're talking about the Nature's Sunshine brand, there are a few more to add. Well, first of all, the GMP here is a special one, the current good manufacturing practice. It's noted as, well, it's written as CGMP. In general, of course, you can also spend an hour talking just about the GMP certificate. But for now, just go and Google it. Talk to ChatGPT, Gemini, the artificial intelligence, and find out why CGMP is better than just GMP. So the Nature's Sunshine Company also has a TGA certificate. It's a very strict certification, an Australian one. And as a rule, it's something that pharmaceutical drugs go through. So for brands of dietary supplements, such a complex certification, such inspections, including unannounced ones, are absolutely not required. But NSP goes to the trouble. There are also ISO 17025 and ISO 9001 standards, which are related to laboratory practice and, again, manufacturing. There's a whole set of different standards, and also being listed on the NASDAQ market, on the NASDAQ exchange, that's also always about unannounced inspections. About not being able to relax. You have to stay on your toes regarding safety and quality. the purity of raw materials, and the purity of the final product. I'm not going to go deep into the quality aspect right now either. Contact your upline or write to me on Instagram. I'll remind you, my handle is Nutritionist Malishkina, and I'll send you a detailed video, a wonderful presentation from Jermala, where everything is explained step by step by Olga Koltunova, who has a PhD in biology and is also a research scientist at NSP. You'll find out what kind of equipment they have, how much it simply costs, because again, not every brand can afford that. Why are they such a, as I like to say, stickler for quality? I'm a stickler when it comes to nutrition science. For me, it's important. It's my primary value in my work to do no harm. Not only to not harm my client, even if that client was just born yesterday, just came into this world, but also to truly get, these are the kind of predictable results. Of course, I can't guarantee a specific client that they'll get a certain result the day after tomorrow, because the level of wear and tear on our bodies is completely different for everyone. But I know that the supplements will work if the client follows my recommendations. That is, Nature's Sunshine supplements are safe and effective. Not to mention that, in principle, NSP is the only company in the world that tests raw materials and final products for radioactive impurities. Again, how many blue zones were there? 6 in the world. And what about the residents of Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania? Well, basically the entire European Union, right? Even if we don't take Sardinia and Icaria, right? The rest of Greece is at risk, the rest of Italy is at risk, also Germany, Poland, well, and in general, the geography, I hope you more or less know. Okay, are we clear on this point? As a nutritionist, I have to use professional brands and work with them. In theory, if I don't use NSP and I use other brands, then some of them will be available on iHerb. Some are sold exclusively through official websites. And on top of that, they will also be, well, at least 1.5 times more expensive. For example, I won't name the brand, but I had to give iron to a girl for whom Nature's Sunshine iron was unavailable. Well, it's not exactly easy to get, but we managed to get it. And, well, just an example for comparison. 60 tablets of this Iron X, it costs €22.76 plus delivery, right? Our iron in Latvia, I'm saying, costs €25 including delivery for 180 tablets. It's advanced math. You can calculate for yourselves how much better value NSP iron is, especially since it's effective. It has cofactors. It's a really great product. Regarding NSP iron, again, please contact your upline sponsor. They will definitely help you. And on top of all that, last spring, this brand X somehow didn't pass the certification standards. It turned out that it exceeded the limits for lead, a heavy metal. So as a nutritionist, first of all, I have to deal with different resources and give different links to my client, which complicates my work. Plus, I can never relax because day in and day out, I have to monitor to make sure that, God forbid, some brand out of the many available doesn't violate quality standards, and that I, in turn, by recommending it, don't end up harming my client. But I don't want to do that. At the same time, if we take the Nature's Sunshine brand, then whatever supplement is on our site, it will be effective, efficient, and of the highest quality. And of course, when you work with a single brand, monitoring this quality is much easier. And what's more, all of this is posted on our official website, all the certificates, they are updated. I'm subscribed to the newsletter. I receive special quarterly reports. I receive special reports on sustainable development. And there, all these things can be monitored, if you wish, much more easily. And of course, if, let's say, you can still complicate your work, go through the trouble, then of course, if you do this with your client, the probability of completing the program will decrease. And if the probability of completing the program decreases, then the effectiveness of your work will also decrease, which, is something I wouldn't want to get either. Of course, as I mentioned, the price to quality ratio is excellent. That is, for a reasonable price, we get a much higher quality than, well, especially if we go to a pharmacy somewhere. And of course, the simplest, easiest delivery to any country in the European Union and to the CIS as well. The results will be better if the probability of completing the program increases, and they will be much more long-lasting. You will start to stand out in the market from the crowd. There are many nutritionists like me, especially if you go on Instagram. But because you work with the Nature's Sunshine brand, you strengthen your position significantly. And on top of everything else, of course, this is a double monetization of your skills. And right now I want to address not only nutritionists, but all specialists in the field of beauty and health, the wellness industry. These are cosmetologists, massage therapists, aromatherapists, kinesiologists, osteopaths. Yes, basically anyone. Even educators and, of course, doctors who are looking for some parallel alternative opportunities in their work, who, well, already understand a little that something is wrong with the standard medical system and are passionate about this mission of helping their patients and not just, prescribing medications. The Nature's Sunshine product is actually an incredible, very multifaceted tool that at the very least will help you improve your health. At one time we were actively making offers to cosmetologists and meeting with them. And among them, I saw cosmetologists with atopic dermatitis. I saw some with acne. What do you think when a client looks at such a cosmetologist? And again, I don't want to belittle the cosmetologist. I'm more than sure that from his professional standpoint, he does everything possible and uses all the necessary techniques and products. But the client, won't think about that. Therefore, by implementing even the minimal rules of nutrition and using the product, you'll be able to significantly improve your health and become more effective and productive. And as a cosmetologist, massage therapist, or osteopath, you can earn more, at least from this perspective. Of course, Nature's Sunshine allows us to fully realize our mission of helping people. I sincerely believe from the bottom of my heart that we, as specialists in helping professions, are here precisely to help. By using NSP products, you will be able to get even much higher quality and even more lasting results. In other words, you'll empower yourself as a specialist. Again, you will stand out among other cosmetologists and nutritionists, and this allows you to get additional monetization in two ways. If you want more clients, then by standing out in the market, word of mouth works better. You increase your income, but if you want to free up time, then you can stay at the same income level, but work less. So it's possible in these two ways. In the end, you get more time for family, more time for children, more time for rest, and simply for your dear self. Just work without burnout. I've been through that too. And a very reliable partner program, a very simple referral system. If you gave a person a referral link and they registered with it, they're not going anywhere. You'll still get your bonuses, skim your cream, even if they go to another specialist, your, so to speak, competitor. And what's more, if, for example, the same iHerb gives a maximum of 10% in bonuses if a person makes their first order with your promo code or referral link, and 5% from subsequent ones, then with NSP you can have up to 30%. So how do you like that? Come on, put a 2 in the comments. And at the same time, you can also turn competitors into partners, your friends. Again, from this perspective, it won't matter if a client came to you or to your competitor turned partner. Nature's Sunshine is a special company in general, which not only gives us money, but also helps us to develop a personal brand. And I can say that even within our structure, for example, I just as a client would go to a cosmetologist or a massage therapist who is in my organization. And after that, I'll record some stories and tell everyone how great it is. Well, yes, if it's really great, but fortunately, I haven't come across any others. And in fact, the Nature's Sunshine community is elite, it's special. Here, more experienced colleagues are ready to sincerely, from the heart, share their best practices, their protocols, programs, and their knowledge. And in this way, you improve, you grow, you get help. Well, that's great. And in fact, lately, I've come to really appreciate this community. And in general, I don't know where else, in what area of my work I could gather such a specific set of opportunities, such a combination when there's health and money and time and community and a personal brand. By the way, about personal branding, you can do the same. If you're interested, if you want to, you can host webinars, demonstrate your expertise, build it up, and attract clients to yourself in this way. If recognition is important to you, then believe me, after a series of some posts on the internet, on Instagram or Facebook, after speaking at webinars, after, if you want, going on stage, that's also possible. And for a large audience, later at the events you'll be attending, everyone will sincerely from the heart say thank you. You helped me with this or that. Even though you haven't even had contact with that person, like directly in person. For me, for example, this always evokes special emotions. It's always very touching and precious. If you are a specialist in a helping profession, in the wellness industry, then in any case, by now, even if you haven't really thought about the business opportunities that Nature's Sunshine can offer you, right? And now you've listened to this webinar, then most likely certain thoughts have appeared in your head. First, either no, I'm absolutely not interested in this, and I completely respect your choice. That's normal. Not everyone needs it. And the completely opposite thought, the other one is, yes, I'm interested in this. I want to try it. The third option is too many questions. I need more information. And if your thoughts are either yes or many questions, then I'll say it again. Contact the person who invited you to this webinar, or will give you the recording later. And they will definitely tell you more details, answer all your questions, connect you to the training system, and guide you to a result. Well, in our structure, that's exactly how we work. And, it's a special company that for me, for a long time now, has not been just about money, health, business, or additional monetization for me as a nutritionist. It's really about people, about the opportunity to be with those who are important to you, who are dear to you, who support you. Because I too, well, like attracts, like as they say in our business, because me, my family, specifically my mom, dad, sister, all my close relatives don't support me. They still make fun of me saying, oh, look who's a doctor now. But you know what? I don't care anymore. Of course, I would have liked for my mom to come to an event where I'm speaking or to have watched a webinar. But if she's not interested, that's her choice too. And in NSP, I found people who support me. My husband is my partner in life and my partner in business. I've made so many friends here. Again, this has long stopped being just about some mutually beneficial relationships between me and Yulia, or between me and, say, Lena, Marina, Karina. I have many leaders in my first generation. I have many leaders in my downline. It's about friendship. It's about spending time together. It's about traveling. Very vivid events, very memorable moments in life that are much more valuable than money. It's about love. It's about human relationships. So friends, on that wonderful note, let's wrap it up. I hope that we didn't just give you some useful information, but also highlighted other aspects that perhaps will be extremely important and interesting to you as well. And you should definitely look into it if you haven't looked into it already. Thank you very much for your attention. Yulia, thank you again for accepting my invitation to speak at this webinar. And bye-bye.